Good evening, Stevens Point. I'm Brenton Canese.
And I'm Ryan Kraft.
This week in SPTV News, a woman's dream results in a swallowed engagement ring. The theater and dance department has their first production of the season and an attack oil Saudi Arabian facilities.
All of this and more when we return.
UW Stevens Point is set to host the Great Lakes Analytics Conference. The conference will take place on October 4th and include more than 30 conference speakers, presenting topics which will include business, risk, and healthcare, among all other analytic topics. Registration will be open through the day of the conference. Registration fees for students are $29 and the cost is $79 for the general public. Discounts are available for groups of 3 or more. For more information or to register, head on over to the website by searching UWSP Analytics Conference
Is now offering a program to help parents communicate better with their children who have language delays. Parents with children up to the age of 5 are able to participate in It Takes Two to Talk program through UW Stevens Point's Speech, Language, and Hearing Clinic. The program has 8 2-hour-long small group sessions with a speech and language pathologist. Families wanting to participate need to register by October 3rd. The registration fee is $200. For more information or to register, contact Pamela Terrell of the School of Communication Sciences and Disorders.
The U.S. Department of Labor, Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, has cited and fined a New London excavation company for exposing their employees to trenching hazards. Wood Sewer and Excavation Incorporated faces $65,921 in fine penalties. According to OSHA's press release, the excavation company failed to protect their employees working 8 feet deep trenches and failed to provide a safe exit from the trench. Wood Sewer and Excavation Incorporation has 15 days upon receiving that citation and penalties to comply, request an informal conference, or contest the findings.
Just the thought of losing your engagement ring is something most women can't even stomach. But for one woman in San Diego, she did stomach it. Literally. She swallowed it in her sleep. Rena Neko from CNN talked to her about her perceptual nightmare.
Sounds like a good idea.
Jenna Evans can't help but blush when she talks about her fiancé, Bobby.
We've been together for 5.5 years.
Quite a long time to get the ring of her dreams from the man of her dreams.
I designed it and I picked all the stones and everything.
But Tuesday night, this 3-stone band of love ended up in a dark place.
I was having a dream that we were on a cargo train and it was a dangerous situation, and Bobby told me, you have to swallow your ring.
Her 007 dream world became a real-life emergency.
When I woke up and it was not on my hand, I knew exactly where it was.
Where was it?
It was in my stomach.
The couple felt panic, hilarity, then a little bit of both. At 8 a.m., they rushed into urgent care and explained her bizarre situation.
I wish I could have seen their faces.
The x-ray confirmed her story.
It's very clear. There's no looking for it. It's just right there.
Her gastroenterologist suggested an emergency endoscopy.
I was really happy because I don't know if I'd ever be able to look at it and appreciate it in the same way if I had had to search for it.
Meaning let nature take its course?
Mm-hmm.
So she went under, and a few minutes later, Evans was reunited with her engagement ring.
I feel very grateful that I got it back and that it does end as a happy, funny story.
A crazy adventure that gives new meaning to a sparkling bride inside and out, and a reminder to be a bit more careful when going to bed.
I have been taking it off at night.
Just in case.
Just in case.
In San Diego, Rena Nakano, 10 News.
The couple will get married in Texas in May, hopefully with the ring in hand, or in this case, on hand.
Want to make a change for the environment? 350 Stevens Point will be holding an event that takes a stance against climate change. Jake Zahn took a closer look.
On Friday, September 20th, 350 Stevens Point will be holding their annual Action Climate Walk for the Earth event at the campus sundial. 16-year-old environmental activist Greta Thunberg will also be at the event.
I'm Molly McGuire. I'm president of 350 Stevens Point. Greta is a 16-year-old Swedish activist who's kind of the face of climate change right now. So she stopped going to school last year to basically say like why go to school if I don't have a future. So she's been promoting this and doing climate strikes all over the world, which is why we want as a community to say, hey, we support Greta. She's actually in the US right now for the UN Climate Summit that's happening next Monday. So there's a big international climate strike on Friday, which is why we're participating in it as well.
Molly also gave a few tips for students who want to get more involved in the fight.
There's a lot of ways to get involved. One of the big ones that I would say is contacting politicians to say like, hey, I am really concerned about this issue and I want you as a politician to make my voice heard and do something about it. There's also just a lot of small changes that people can make, like participating in Meatless Monday or just biking or walking to school instead of driving every day. So those are great changes that people can make.
I'm Jake Zahn reporting, and this is SPTV News.
A partnership between UW-Stevens Point and the National Wellness Institute, and will offer a new certification program that sets a new standard in facilitating behavior change that creates healthy lifestyles for people of all ages and abilities. UW-Stevens Point is considered the birthplace of wellness, establishing the first wellness degree program in the world and offering the first bachelor's program in the U.S., accredited by the National Wellness Institute. The National Wellness Institute is a nonprofit organization originally founded at UW-Stevens Point and enriches careers with skills and connections to promote multidimensional wellness. The deadline for the first cohort is Friday, October 18th. To learn more or schedule an informative session, visit the Health and Wellness Center.
An internationally renowned biologist, historian, and author will give 2 presentations at UWSP next week. Lee Dugatin, a biology professor and distinguished university scholar at the University of Louisville, will talk at 4 p.m. Thursday, September 19th in the Trainer Natural Resources Building Room 170 about his book, Mr. Jefferson and the Great Giant Moose, Natural History in Early America. At noon on Friday, September 20th in the Science Building, Room D102, he will discuss another book of his, How to Tame a Fox and Build a Dog Visionary, Scientist and Siberian Tale of Jump-Started Evolution. He has published more than 150 peer-reviewed articles on evolution and behavior in professional journals and written several books and textbooks. Both talks are free and open to the public.
Earlier this week, the Academic and Career Advising Center hosted its first ever STEM career fair. Austin Lepak has more on the story.
September 17th, the Academic Career Advising Center held its first ever STEM job fair. I sat down with Sue Kissinger, the Assistant Director for Career Services, to talk about the origins of this new event.
This grew out of an old paper science and engineering fair that was just for their students. And when I talked to employers there last year, they were saying, we need to hire chemists, we need to hire computer science students too. Where are they? And I said they weren't invited. So we decided to take that fair, talk to the faculty in those disciplines and say, will your students come? Will you help support this? And they did.
The event was packed full of students eager to have a headshot taken or to talk to the various companies present.
Students, I think, were excited because they had a huge array of employers to talk to. They could talk to the paper science employers because they are hiring all sorts of different students from different backgrounds.
Not only were paper science companies there were various other companies from areas varying from pharmaceuticals to tech companies to landfill remediation. But the most valuable thing students had by going to the job fair was practicing how to network.
Coming to a career fair, I think, is really crucial because it allows you an opportunity to network. And you're going to be networking throughout your whole life, whether you like it or not. And it's never, to me, it's never really comfortable to do so. But the more you can do it, the better it's going to be. So you're going to network at fairs like that. You're going to network at conferences. You're going to network when you are a new employee and you have to go to a new employee venue. Anything that you're going to be doing, training sessions, anything that you do, you need to network with other professionals. And the more you can do that, the easier you're going to be able to navigate, not only if you're going to apply for this job and move to the next job and the next job, but move up within a company. Those are all going through those interview processes. And the more comfortable you get with that entire process, the better.
And based on the turnout for this new event, the chances of this event returning are also getting better. For SPTV, this has been Austin Leapak.
The next job fair will be held on October 3rd and will feature employers from multiple disciplines. To find out more, visit the Career Hall on the 3rd floor of Albertson Hall.
A locally owned printing company in Stevens Point has made it past the first round of public voting. Warzala specializes in high-quality printing products and is known for the printing of the Dire Wimpy Kids series by Jeff Kinney. The annual Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce Coolest Thing Made in Wisconsin contest is in its 4th year and opens its next round of voting on September 17th and closes the voting on October 22nd. That's all the news stories we have for you tonight.
Coming up next, we have Dana Bouch with SPTV Sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Warzala, the 7th largest book printer in North America, is hiring students for the semester. We are 100% employee-owned and located right here in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. All shifts currently hiring, with jobs starting at $10.80 an hour. Hours are flexible. For more information, contact the Warzala HR department.
Serving a campus of 9,600 strong, we are the home of UWSP Television. We are SPTV. You can find us on Charter Channel 983, online, or on any of our social media sites.
Welcome back. The UWSP football team defeated 21st ranked Wabash County 31-28 in their home opener last Saturday. The Pointers took an early lead in the first quarter, scoring 2 touchdowns on their first 3 drives. The Pointers would go into halftime with a 21-7 lead, but Wabash came back in the second half with 2 rushing touchdowns by Ike James to tie the game at 21 all. UWSP would kick off to reclaim the lead, but the Little Giants responded with another big rushing touchdown by James to take the lead 28-24 in the fourth quarter. With under 2.5 minutes left in the game, Pointers quarterback Matt Ermansky led a 75-yard drive down the field, ending with a 7-yard touchdown pass to Devin Baldridge to give the Pointers a 31-28 lead and eventually the win. In his first start since last season, Ermansky completed the 24 passes for 329 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Pointers improved to 1-1 on the season. The team travels this weekend to South Dakota for a matchup against Dakota State University on Saturday. The UWSP volleyball team defeated UW River Falls on the road in 3 sets last night as they opened up league play. The Pointers started out the match on a 7-1 run and would take the first set. The second set was closer than the first as the Pointers put together a late 4-0 run to win by 2. In the third set, April Gell broke a 7-7 tie, and the Pointers would run away with the victory. Gell finished the match with her 7th consecutive double-double this season. With 16 kills and 22 digs on the night, the Pointers currently stand at 11-3 on the season. They'll host the second Pointers Invitational of the season this weekend at the Berg Gym. The volleyball season is on a hot streak as they prepare for the second half of their season. Head coach Lindsay Coy is optimistic as the team gears up for their most important games yet. SPTV's Rachel Ellis has the story.
The UWSP volleyball team has finished their first half of the season strong. Their hard work has led them to a record of 11-3 so far. Head coach Lindsay Coy acknowledges the optimism the team has gained from their successes, but knows they have to keep working hard as the season progresses.
We've played some pretty tough competition. Starting our opening weekend, we actually beat the 9th ranked team in the nation, University of Chicago, in 3 sets. So that kind of set the bar for this team in this season. And I think in that moment, the team believed that, holy cow, we can really do some damage here and be really successful this season. So obviously we're never satisfied. We're constantly getting better, but we definitely have a good start to the season. And I think even those 3 losses help us understand what our weaknesses are to continue to grow and get better.
The Pointers took on 3 teams in Minnesota this past weekend where they walked away with a record of 2-1. April Gale, who is currently number 1 in the nation for kills, came away from the tournament with some valuable insight about what went well and what the team needs to improve on.
What went well is our service passing has been incredible. We have
a very high percentage right now, and that's something we're continuing to work on, but it's definitely improved over the years, and so that's been going super well. What we struggled with a little bit this weekend is a lot of missed serves, so just working on being more consistent on our serve and being aggressive. That's something we really push in practice, is being an aggressive serving team, and so errors do come along with that, but then also we get more aces as well. So.
Throughout all of their wins and losses, this season is particularly notable for Coy, as it is her first as head coach for UWSP. Her team has helped to make Point her new home.
For me, I feel like this is, now with my name to this program, this is truly my program. You know, we're sure there was the interim tag there was an opportunity for me to interview for the job. I still didn't know at the time if this was truly my home. And now I feel like it's my home. These are my kids. This is my first freshman recruiting class, which means a lot to me as a head coach. So there's just more meaning, I think, behind it.
Coy and April both attribute the program's success to their team's chemistry. As the second half of their season begins, April and her teammates are ready to dive on into what's next.
Our team chemistry this season is better than ever. Like, we've usually struggled in the past really coming all together, but our team has clicked so well this year, and we've just been breaking records and doing our thing together, and it's just been a blast.
This has been Rachel Ellis for SPTV Sports.
With great team chemistry and new blood in the starting lineup, the Pointers are looking to dominate the second half of their season. They are currently second in the WIAC and are 11th and 3 overall. Moving on, the UWSP women's soccer team played to a 0-0 draw against Carroll University last night in Waukesha. The Pointers outshot the Pioneers 15-7, but neither team was able to put the ball in the net. Freshman goaltender Miranda Neiman earned her third shutout of the year and remains undefeated on the season. The Pointers' record is currently at 4-1-2. They will host 2 matches this weekend, with one against Wartburg College on Saturday and then a match against the University of Dubuque on Sunday. Now switching to professional sports, the Green Bay Packers defeated the Minnesota Vikings 21-16 last Sunday at Lambeau Field. The Packers started the game rolling on all gears, scoring 3 touchdowns on their first 3 drives. However, the momentum would not last as the Packers would struggle on offense for the rest of the game. The Vikings would score 2 touchdowns and a field goal to keep the difference at 5 points. But the Packers' defense prevented the Vikings from getting another score. The defense's effort was highlighted by a late interception in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes left to play. Aaron Rodgers completed 22 passes for 209 yards and 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones rushed for 116 yards on 23 carries, and Devontae Adams had 7 receptions for 106 yards. The Packers are 2-0 and are in first place in the NFC North. They'll host the Denver Broncos this Sunday, with kickoff scheduled for noon. The Milwaukee Brewers lost 2-1 against the San Diego Padres at Miller Park Wednesday night. The Brewers had a rough night at the plate, striking out 16 times and only getting 3 hits. Keston Hiura got the lone run for the Crew, hitting his 17th home run of the season. Despite the loss, the Brewers are tied with the Chicago Cubs for the second NL wildcard spot and are only 3 games behind the St. Louis Cardinals in the NL Central. The Brewers are now at 82-70 on the season and will go on for the series win today against the Padres. They will then host a 3-game series this weekend against the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's all the sports stories we have for you today. Up next is Theo Mayer with entertainment. I'm Dana Bouch with SPTV Sports.
Tobacco use is the largest preventable cause of death
and disease in the United States.
Cigarette smoke kills more than
480,000 Americans
each year.
41,000 of these deaths
are from exposure
to secondhand smoke.
Smoking harms nearly
every organ in the body.
Every day,
more than
3,800 kids
under the age of 18
smoke their first cigarette. More than 16 million Americans
live with a smoking-related disease.
On average,
smokers die 10 years younger
than non-smokers.
Smoking causes
cancer,
heart disease,
strokes, lung diseases,
diabetes,
and chronic bronchitis.
So I hear they have like a sale at the DUC or whatever.
Yeah.
Some like type of coffee.
Welcome back. The Department of Theater and Dance Production season is right around the corner. The first show of the season is The Spiritualist, a staged reading focusing on Rosemary Dunn, who communicates with the spirits of famous composers as they ask her to help her in completing the unfinished symphonies. The play speaks to fame and immortality. The play will open on September 26th at the UW Stevens Point Marshfield campus at 7:30 p.m. The play also shows on Friday, Saturday at 7:30 p.m. and at the UWSP main campus, and Sunday at the 2 p.m. at the main campus. Tickets are free with student ID and $10 without. Tickets are available at the uwsp.com or the DUC info tickets and information desk. The famous band, the Jonas Brothers, came to Milwaukee this past Tuesday, the 17th, at the Fiserv Forum. After a 6-year hiatus, the brothers reunite for a comeback that has fans of all ages feeling nostalgic. Their new tour album, The Happiness Begins, is their new taste of adventure and life and what they've been through throughout and apart, and their new chapter together. They will be singing songs by Joe and Nick and many old songs. The Jonas Brothers continue their North American part of the tour throughout the rest of the year. Stevens Point is bringing live music to campus with a DJ night. Centertainment is bringing DJ Ekau on September 28th at 8 p.m. to share his set for students to let loose and have a good time. Tickets are $5 at the info and information desk. That's all the entertainment stories we have for you this week. Coming up next is Florence Anderson with the Pointer Politics. I'm Theo Meyer with SPTV Entertainment.
Very welcoming place. Even if you don't know what support you need, just coming down, we can look at individual schedules and talk about all the different options that are available.
I believe that the TLC can definitely help students even for the slightest little bit. The writing lab, especially because you're going to have to write papers for any of the classes, they're able to proofread those and give you feedback on those.
The writing lab has been around since 1973, and it's the second oldest writing lab in the United States, which is kind of cool.
I was surprised by everything that I learned about TLC because I didn't realize there were so many resources for students.
To see more students down here. I mean, it's great that we have 35% of the student population utilizing us, but that means that we have 65% that didn't utilize us, and I know we have support services that could benefit just about everybody.
to me that I'm able to add another link between the TLC and the students. I know that as a big organization, it's kind of hard to get word out to the students, especially because they're not going out and meeting with the students or being part of their classes or anything like that. So having that extra link probably helps them out a lot.
And when you come down, there's free coffee, tea, and hot cocoa, so make themselves at home and learn a little bit about how they can be supported.
SPTV strives to represent the student body and Stevens Point community. We are a professional student-run organization that provides hands-on experience for students to create the best possible content. SPTV encourages creativity and is open to all students. Stop by our office for more information.
Welcome back, Pointers. A Republican senator from Oconomowoc launched his bid for Congress on Tuesday, September 17th. And he also shared his support for President Trump. Republican Scott Fitzgerald is in the race to take over from retiring U.S. Representative Jen Sensenbrenner. According to AP News and Politics, Fitzgerald praised Trump, saying, quote, "He's continually trying to push the envelope, and ultimately it's going to pay off for us," end quote. Fitzgerald is known for being an early Trump supporter and now a close ally. It may soon cost a little more to fill up your tank. Oil prices are on the rise after this weekend's attack on Saudi Arabian oil facilities. The Trump administration is keeping watch and says some sort of action might be forthcoming. John Lornick reports.
President Trump with a message to those behind Saturday's attack on a Saudi Arabian oil field. Taking to Twitter Sunday night, the president said the U.S. has reason to believe that we know who is responsible and that the U.S. is locked and loaded depending on verification of the strike.
It is likely that Iran was behind these attacks. If, however, this attack originated within Iran, it would mark a direct escalation. Iran has traditionally relied on proxies to launch attacks against Saudi Arabia and against American interests.
Iran-backed Houthi militants in Yemen say they used 10 drones to carry out the strikes. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo rejects that, tweeting there is no evidence the attacks came from Yemen. And while some think military action against Iran should be on the table, others disagree.
This is a regional conflict that there's no reason the superpower of the United States needs to be getting into bombing mainland Iran. It would be a needless escalation of this.
Oil prices surged Sunday after the attack disrupted the global supply of crude oil. President Trump responded by authorizing the use of oil from the nation's emergency reserve. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Before their attack, there were signs President Trump had been open to a meeting with Iran's president this month. Edward Snowden has been living in Russia in exile since he became America's most wanted man in 2013, yet wants to return to the United States if he is granted a fair trial. After leaking large amounts of data about the U.S. government surveillance of its citizens, Snowden had tried to leave the country and seek asylum elsewhere. According to CNN Politics, Snowden has been granted asylum in Russia until 2020. Snowden sat down for an interview the day before he released his book, Permanent Record. Snowden discussed his book and what it's going to take for him to return to the United States. He added later, quote, "I'm not asking for a pass. What I'm asking for is a fair trial," end quote. That's all the politics stories we have for you this week. Now back to Ryan and Brenton. I'm Florence Anderson with SPTV Politics.
Thanks, Florence. That's all we have for you this week in SPTV News.
Until next time, Stevens Point, have a great night.